You are watching Life on Gabriola TV, community television, for you, by you.
Hello, Lisa Nyangets, Webster, De Waxanazre. I am Lisa Webster. I am a Mohawk woman. I'm Sinemak territory and a volunteer with the Life on Gabriola Media Society. And today I'm here to introduce the third artist in residence for the Kasahara artist residency here on Gabriola Island. And today we have Rhonda Weppler. So Rhonda, I'm going to pass it over to you to introduce yourself in the way that you'd like to be introduced.
Well, thank you so much, Lisa. So I'm Rhonda Weppler, and I have an interesting life. I live in New York City, but I also live in Toronto, where I teach sculpture and drawing at the University of Toronto. I was born in Winnipeg. I say I mostly am a sculptor, but I dabble in a whole bunch of different things. And my project here ends up dabbling in a whole bunch of different things.
Right on. So tell me a little bit more about what you're aiming for, and what is your project?
So when I came here, I'm also always interested in details of things and often overlook details of things. And when I came up with the project for this, I really wanted to do something where you're looking at the ground. And I love making things. And I think part of the reason why people like to make things is because they appreciate things and it gives them time to sort of slow down and reflect on something. So I'm making little mimics of objects and natural landscape things that are around the Kasahara House. So I'll go outside, I'll pick, say, some leaves up, and I'll bring them inside, and I'll take paper, and I'll trace them, and I'll paint them. And those natural things I try to copy, on one hand, I'm appreciating them by spending a long time looking at them. And then I'm also using them as props that become part of a video. So it's a ASMR video, which is kind of a meditative, slow type of videos that are out there on YouTube. I want to make my own type of ASMR video that slowly travels through the landscape, but it has these little surreal moments in this landscape.
And when you say little, you mean little, like you're working towards a miniature world, are you not? Is that one way to express it?
So the objects I'm making are actually life-size. So when I make a leaf, I make a life-size leaf that's painted and looks like it's a paper leaf. Or a mushroom or whatever I'm finding around. But the video is this little miniature person walking through this landscape. So a puddle becomes like a lake, and like a pebble becomes a little mountain, that you're climbing through.
Oh, excellent. I mean, I know in my culture that we have little people, and so I'd love the idea of being able to have that viewpoint of really delighting in those things that you have a different perspective of. Is that perspective and sort of different perspectives a key in your work?
I think so. I think a lot of the projects I do are about looking at things that you don't look at normally or don't think about that often, or you might just walk over and not notice. But I think slowing down and appreciating those details adds a richness and appreciation that you might not get otherwise. But I make so many different works, and I also work with another artist in Toronto. His name's Trevor Mahofsky. And we sometimes make really big sculptures and other times make really small sculptures, but I like that, moving between those two scales.
And you mostly work in paper?
I work with a lot of materials that are, as I say, ephemeral, so that might not last. And it's part of the reason when I'm making this landscape, this piece, this video, is that you're aware that it's fragile. It's kind of amplifying the fact that it's not a permanent artwork. Because you sometimes think of sculptures being bronze or something really permanent. but I often work with materials that are the opposite of that. So, for example, I'll make a whole exhibition just using foil, like aluminum foil off the roll, where I'm rubbing it onto things and then making casts. At the end of the exhibition, it's just foil that's been cast, but it gets rolled up and recycled. So it's amplifying the idea of things being fragile.
Okay. And what drew you to the Kasahara residency?
I've been working with a lot of natural things and looking at these little, like the details of natural things, because I think there's, when you walk kind of down in a forest or so on, you're kind of seeing the trees mostly. You're not really going down low and looking at all the patterns. And when you get to the lower level, like the very detailed level, it's almost otherworldly. And I know I lived in Vancouver 10 years ago, and I remember it being very lush in this environment. And there's so many mushrooms, there's so many almost strange alien things when you look at the ground here, because it's so rich. So I wanted to play off that. I knew the property was on water and next to the forest, so you can have all those different, I didn't know exactly what was here, but I wanted to be kind of an explorer and see what was here.
Oh, exactly. What was the best thing about your residency here?
Really, so many things. The people here on this island are so sweet and so warm. There's so many artists here. I wish I had gotten to meet more artists, but it just, that is the number one thing. I didn't fully expect that. That was a surprise thing. All right, so what I was going to do is go step by step through making the easiest bead flower. I have those materials in the middle of the table here. Then I have, if you want, you can keep on making them today after that. Or you can try making ones that are a little bit, but I won't say more complicated. You're just building on what you just learned. For this first one, so we're all going to make one larger bead one, and that is here. I have little labels kind of got a little bit lost here, but all the big beads here are for the petals in the center, so you'll need six of the petals.
Yep.
Yeah, 6 and 1 for the center. So maybe and then you also need one of the big long pieces of wire and one of the short pieces of wire.
Well, I can't imagine the difference between in New York and Gabriola. That must have been quite a culture shock to get here. Was it something you were prepared for, or?
So I had lived in Vancouver before, but it's still that trend. It's a long journey from New York to here. You gotta stop, and I think it was Edmonton, and then you end up here, and then have to stay overnight in Nanaimo. And so it's a bit of time for you to make that change, but still, it's like, wow, the pace is just a totally different pace, and even culturally, like people keep their space here. You're not like all like jammed up against people, and I feel. I should say, I feel safe in New York, but I always feel when I go, I'm kind of geared up to have to deal with something that might be negative or intense. Here, I'm just like, it's like I'm wearing slippers all the time. It's really comfortable.
Right on. What will you take back with you from your experience here?
Well, I have a lot of memories, and I'm really happy with the project I was able to finish here so far. I'm not quite done it yet, but I don't know, it's a magical experience, and I'm not even sure exactly what would be the most important thing that I leave, but I know I'll be reflecting on it, for years to come.
Mm-hmm. And your videos, will you have those online for us to, I'm quite curious, I really want to see that perspective of like being down on the ground, and if it's an ASMR, that's just perfect.
Yeah, so I'm just going to post them online. I usually put them on YouTube or on my own website so that people can just access them. Because I like the way, internet makes it possible for people to see art without having to go in gallery. They just have their headphones on and kind of get in the zone, when they watch my piece. So.
Will the sets travel with you back to New York?
I'm gonna put them in a box, put them all inside a couple boxes and send them to Toronto.
Okay.
Where some studio space where I can pack them or leave them, and I might revisit them, see what I can do next with them.
Right on. Well, thank you very much. Is there anything else you'd like to say about your experience here?
Just thank you so much. It was a great experience, great people, and if anybody's watching this that wants to apply, definitely do.
Right on. Thank you, Rhonda.
You're welcome. Thank you, Lisa.